Human beings can do whatever they want in nature because they are rulers over it. But the word subdue does not refer to strip mining or deforestation. It means to provide careful guardianship over it, to be responsible for its well-being. As Christians, we should be the greatest environmentalists of all because we are God's caretakers. Adam and Eve are given responsibility to care for and tend God's garden. I'm glad that I can turn on the faucet and trust that the water is clean. I'm glad there's no longer lead in our paint poisoning our children. I'm glad there's no longer asbestos in our walls. I probably should not have scraped off the popcorn insulation when I did the remodel without a mask. That probably was a mistake. But I'm glad for these environmental concerns. The point is that Christians should be leading the way on these issues. Of course, on the opposite extreme, though, we're not to worship the earth or place the good of nature over the good of humanity. The earth was created for us, and its resources are to be developed and utilized. For many people, there's a fascination these days with groups like the Amish, who live a simple and traditional lifestyle. Now, don't get me wrong, it's great to simplify your life. Around our house, we try to recycle as much as possible and be responsible consumers. But I sometimes hear people say, don't you wish we could go back and live on farms and ride in wagons? My answer is no. I'm glad we have cars. I don't want to have to take a covered wagon from San Diego to Los Angeles. That's a 4-day trip by wagon, 2 hours by car. I'm leading a BSF trip to Israel. I'm glad we have jumbo jets. I don't want to spend 3 months on the open sea to get to Israel. People say, but life was so much simpler back then. True, but people also died of smallpox and tuberculosis. I'm glad for the great advances in medicine. So what does it mean to rule over and to subdue the earth? This is a mandate to understand the world and to utilize its resources for the good of humanity. This is a mandate for science, a mandate for exploration. This is about learning to farm and to fish and to mine precious metals, responsibly, of course. This is a mandate for building cars and trains and planes and spaceships. This is a mandate for exploring the universe, going where no man has gone before. And this is something that is unique to humans. Dolphins aren't going to solve world hunger. Chimpanzees aren't going to save the rainforest. Elephants aren't going to stop the war in Syria. Human beings were appointed to do those things because we were created to be caretakers of this world. Fifth and finally, we were created to enjoy God's good creation. Look at verse 29. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They are yours for food. I love this verse. Food is good. I'm so glad. Foodies rejoice, right? It's a good thing to eat and enjoy life's pleasures. I'm so glad because I love a nice meal, whether it's a family celebration at a local restaurant or a hot dog at the ballpark or a barbecue in the backyard. Food often brings us together for fellowship.